Blessings, everyone, and welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. I'm so grateful that you took time to join us today live. And I just want to remind anybody that's tuning in today that if you want to log in and just put your nickname or your name right there on the live chat, you can ask questions and connect with us and ask Amnon things if you want to have him nudge me to talk about anything. And then if you want to call in, the number is 919-518-9773. So you can call in on the phone, or you can call into Computers 2K Voice if you want to use your Skype to call in. So just a little reminder on that. I welcome all of you that are already on the chat live, and I just want to invite you to all write in any questions or any comments that you have pertaining to what we're talking about, or even just like a question that's coming to you in your life that you'd like some insight on. Just shoot it. Like, let's let it roll today and just feel like this conversation is open for you, which will be kind of fun to just see where it flows. But what I'm feeling led to talk about today is connected to the last week of my life. I've just been watching the energies like I always do, and that kind of helps me know what to talk about and what we're ready to discuss and bring to awareness. And the other night in our Sacred Soul Sister Circle, there was an amazing energetic presence of Archangel Ariel with us. And the two cards that I drew before all the women showed up were from my goddess deck, and I'll read them to you today in a little while. But one of them was Freya, and the other one was Mary Magdalene. And when I put the cards together, I very quickly saw the energetic pattern of the yin and the yang of the angelic beings that are in the circle with me. All these women, as we did a past life regression the other night, we discovered that many of them were from the star system of Orion, as well as the angelic realms, which I already knew that, but it was cool for them to do the regression, to start to see that themselves. Many of them I've already had meetings with in dream time where I'm listening, and it's kind of like very Star Wars, where there's this galactic meeting that takes place, and I'm often there in my dream state connecting with Arcturians. I'm connecting with High Council of Orion and the angelic beings. And it was cool because when we were having our meeting, all the women have a chance to share and just say what they're going through and what's challenging them in their life, and what's also something that they're ready to embody, something they're dreaming about, and they're ready to really manifest it, whatever that may be. And there was a common theme around the circle of the card Freya. She is the goddess, like a Celtic goddess, that is about standing up and being in your power, being bold, being daring, taking leaps of faith. And in the circle, the entire circle, all these women had some major thing going on in their world that it was time to take a leap of faith. It was time to cut the cords of what wasn't working and take the leap off the cliff and learn to fly on your way down. And it was interesting because some of the girls, one of them actually confessed out loud that she knew she felt it was time for her to leave a marriage that was not working. And she was afraid to even say it. But once she said it, I helped remind her that this was a sacred circle. We can share, we can speak our truth, we can say what we're feeling, and what we choose to do is up to us always. And energies can shift. We may feel like that's where we are today, and then we get greater insight to something, and our energy shifts, our decisions can change. But to come into that space where we're being truthful and honest is the main highlight for tonight's show, is just really having integrity with your life and being bold and daring to be true to yourself and to really honor what your soul is trying to tell you. And when we were going around the circle, several of us had been in situations, like I was in a marriage for 20 years that I knew was never in alignment. It never felt right. It never felt honoring. There was times that there was good times and not so good times, but in essence, it just never felt like where I was really meant to be, like where my soul was going to be most honored. And I stayed there for quite a while out of fear and just, what do I do? Who am I without this? And so I have so much compassion to every one of you that are struggling in some way to let go and detach from something that you know is no longer really serving you, maybe something that you know has never served you, but it's where you've been for a while because you're afraid to let go of it, to move forward. And the point of the discussion tonight is to talk about why it's so important to honor your soul, why it's so important to listen to the calling of the soul, because big picture, you are a soul. And this is what, as we did a past life regression the other evening, the women could tune in and see with the intention of going back to their soul essence before they incarnated into a human form. And who were they? Where did they come from? What is their soul mission? What's the purpose of them coming into this form at this time? Why did they choose this particular family or this relationship they're in? What are these energies that they're needing to clear from past life karma? Like they could have things that are repeating cycles and patterns that keep happening because it's a energy they need to clear, a pattern. And so all these things can be tuned into when we do a regression, or as we go into a meditation, we can ask our guides to bring us clarity and wisdom on these same questions. When we work with an intuitive healer that we trust to tune in and listen, the reason an intuitive healer like myself can be helpful for this work is if the person is so unconscious in their own movie that they need someone to shine the light on things that they're not even seeing. And they may know them, like every woman in the circle knew things that they needed to shift. They knew things that their soul was not liking, but are they ready to see it? Are they ready to actually look at the truth and to shift that? And so for someone some of them, they may be really bold and daring and ready for the clearing and ready for the awareness. And so they'll shift very quickly. But for some, they may be in an unconscious place where they suppress the energy, they suppress the emotions, and they don't really look at the truth. And that can get them in this feeling what we call stuck, where we feel we're stuck. And then we can start feeling depressed and we start to manifest these energies that are really not comfortable. And the point of today is to realize, I was talking to Amnon before the show, that I've realized that there is no real wrong path or right path. All the energy is guiding us to alignment. So if we think of it that way, he was saying it's kind of like if you're on the road and you're going somewhere, like in essence, you could go on the side streets and you could get lost for a while. But if you want to head to your destination, eventually you need to get back on the path. So if we think of if we're in Vancouver and we're heading to Seattle, the straight shoot for Seattle is to jump on I-5 and you're going to hit the freeway and just head north and you'll get to Seattle. But in life, sometimes a soul will go, hey, let's take the straight shoot. Let's go that way. Let's stick to the path of alignment. But sometimes we can get distracted. We may be afraid to go further. Ooh, what's in Seattle? I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready to go. And so we'll stay stuck. We'll just sit on the side of the freeway in fear. Sometimes we'll be curious about other things, even though our soul says, go this way. Our ego will say, no, I want power. I want control. I want attention. I want lots of money, fame, who knows, whatever the things are that distract us to go away from our true self. And then we go out there and eventually we get the energy that comes around that causes suffering. We learn our lessons, and the suffering in essence is also a part of the path. It teaches us and it guides us to come right back into alignment. And so if we really look at it from a soul level, there's not really any good or bad. It's just experience, and all the experience is helping to guide us to choose alignment. Now, at a soul level, as far as evolution is concerned, if we would like the more gentle journey with evolution and we want to really fulfill the tasks that we each came here to fulfill, then the path that we should go with would be the aligned path. So today I was in my yoga teacher training and we were talking about all this and how the 8 limbs of yoga are these like it's like an ethical code system of how to live your life so that you embody this state of nirvana or samadhi, and you're in this state of bliss. And so as we're learning about meditation and coming to this place of being very present, honoring stillness so that we can listen and connect with our guides and remember our mission is so vital to that alignment. And so for souls that end up getting lost and maybe they go into a partying stage of their life and they're partying and they're abusing their bodies and they're not really honoring what they're here to do. And so they suffer with depression and they don't feel confident. They struggle with self-esteem. That's in essence still a beautiful part of their journey, because that energy of suffering is going to push on them and push on them until they kind of crack and they come back to seeking that aligned path. what I tell my students is if you want to save time, if you're like me, I like evolution, I like to move swiftly, I like to stick to my soul mission because I feel joy, I feel bliss, I feel abundance, I feel peace and harmony, and all those good energies are what you will find in the small, narrow space of alignment. And so, if you want to save time, I kind of joke with my students and say, just stick to the path. If you know that meditation's serving you and you know that stillness is helping you, you know that yoga makes your body feel better, you know when you eat green juice and vegetables and healthy organic foods, you thrive, you feel more energy, then if you keep doing that, you're going to just thrive. You're going to keep progressing and doing better and better. Last night, one of the girls mentioned something about why she feels she struggles with her body image, and that she feels that part of her, it's like a self-sabotage thing she does, where she'll be doing really great and then she'll sabotage herself and she'll eat a bunch of crappy foods or go out and drink and make herself feel bad. And it kind of sabotages her forward movement. So, from a soul level, at some level, she's still not quite comfortable coming into her power. So she'll move and progress to a certain point and then sabotage to keep herself held back because she's actually, in essence, afraid of her own power. So if we look into that in our own lives, our own behavior, we can see that in truth, the biggest thing that there is to fear is our fear itself. The fear of whatever is out there that we have is what keeps us stuck and it causes us to sabotage. Most of us are not really afraid of, I think at the deepest level, some think they're just afraid of failure. But I think what deeper is in them that is causing fear is a fear of their power, a fear of stepping in and fully being accountable and being powerful and having the capabilities to see your mission through. I think that terrifies some people. It really does, because they know they cannot play victim. They cannot, let someone else take the heat. It's going to all be on their shoulders. And so when we really look at this, these paths that we go away and we kind of distract ourselves, like, oh, I'm going to Seattle, but I think I'm going to take a little side shot over here to the east for a while. That's fine. You're still learning, you're growing. But in essence, if your destination is in Seattle, energetically, this is just metaphorically, we want to get back on that freeway and we want to shoot down the freeway and have the presence and awareness of what our mission is. And that is so vital for our health and our happiness at a soul level. And the reason I was talking about that with the women last night is that the ones that are knowing they're not somewhere that they know their soul is really meant to be, they are suffering in some level. They're having struggle, they're having insecurity, fear, and their sense of self-worth, their body image, all of it is affected because their soul keeps saying, let's go, this is not for us, we need to go that way. And their ego says, no, we don't know what's going to happen over there. We don't know what we'll lose if we leave. What will we lose? What will we be? Who will we be? Like, what will people think of us? And these things keep us very stuck where we are. And at a soul level, it isn't really serving us. And even if the ego stays say, a marriage like I did for 20 years, it's not a good or bad thing. It maybe wasn't the most fun thing for me, but big picture, I'm still getting the work done. The angels, my guides, they're still pushing on me. Come on, girl, let's go, let's go. And so really, if you want to just save time, just stick to the path of alignment and honor the calling of the soul. Because as you honor that, it's going to serve you and it's going to serve everyone in your life, because you're living in that inspiration, you're living in that space of truth. And from my experience, and I've talked to the girls about this, I haven't experienced where, I know that something's not right for me and I want to know what to do next. And then the angels deliver me this big business plan. It's like a blueprint that shows me everything that's going to happen. That's never happened. But what they always do is they help me see what's no longer serving me. They give me the courage to make changes and they show me the next step. And so today, it's kind of a balance of our conversation of, honoring the soul's calling and the power and the gift of stillness. And so the two of these energies together are very powerful. Each of you that is understanding the smallest understanding of meditation and why that's good to be quiet and still and calm your mind, why it's important to, go for a walk in nature and just quiet the thoughts and just observe nature and listen is going to help you with answering the calling of your soul. And in these times of stillness, it's when we're getting our next step. So if today I'm feeling a little confused about something or I'm feeling a little insecure about something, the best thing I can do is to tune into that immediately instead of go and try to distract myself and numb myself by eating a bunch of Twinkies or, going and getting drunk or going out and buying a bunch of stuff. Whatever we do, our own form of distraction, our entertainment that keeps us numb to tuning into what the soul wants to say, the more we listen and tune in, the swifter we make the next step that takes us in the direction of our soul's highest mission. And that feels very rewarding and very fulfilling. So when we're in these times where maybe we've done a lot, we've been busy, and we just know we're not happy any longer in this certain direction, that, this served me for a while, but it feels time to go now. We really can learn a lot in the art of letting go when we allow things to come in and when it's time to release them, and really not living with an attachment to things or to people, to situations, status, anything, because none of that matters to your soul. To your ego, it matters, but to our soul, it doesn't really matter. And so it's important that we start to tune in and, when we're practicing meditation, and I'm saying practicing meaning daily, we are honoring time for stillness, we will make much better choices, much more aligned choices that get us back on the freeway in the direction of our soul's highest mission. Because we're listening, we're tuning in, we're getting that signal, that guidance. Okay, here's the next step, Tawnya. This is the next step. This is where you need to go now. Okay. And then I take that step, I manifest, and then I'm in that pause place. So there's action and then being. Action, being. And it's really important to practice this in a very balanced way, because the state of the planet is very reflective of what action and action and action without any presence creates. And if we want to shift things, we need to take the action once we come into that place of stillness. We're receptive, we're listening, we're awaiting the next signal of the direction, the intention, the solution. It's all within, it's all coming in. And as we listen, we can take aligned action. And it's not like worrying about the future anymore, because the more we practice being in the now and honoring stillness, we realize there's really nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about out there externally. You don't need to have all the answers right now and give everybody everything. You just need to be present and trust that whatever you do need will come. When you're doing a training, you're just going to practice what you have now. And when it's time to deliver, you trust that spirit will move through you, will teach through you, will speak through you, will paint through you, will heal through you, whatever it is. The more we open ourselves to be receptive and we're vessels for the light, we're vessels for spirit to move through, amazing magical things start to happen. And your life really will shift into this place of greater ease. You'll just feel at ease, you'll feel content, and you'll be trusting. There won't be any more fear of where money's coming from or where the people will come from or the help or the support, because we know we're connected to Source. We tune in, we thank Source for what we need and what we are asking for very clearly, and then we listen to the guidance, and everything we need comes to us. So I'm going to pause for a second to see if anyone has any input in what I'm sharing today or any questions on that. And see if you guys have anything to say.
Not yet.
Okay.
Go ahead and take another drink.
Yeah, type in your questions if you have a question, or just even your feedback. Like, is what I'm saying resonating with you? Or are you like, you're full of crap, Tawnya? So just totally share. If you think I'm full of crap, bring it. I will totally listen to your side. It's totally fine. But if you feel like, wow, what she's saying makes a lot of sense, and I have been stuck for a long time, and what is that? Why do we get stuck? Like, any questions you have, just write them in, and I'll love to tune in on that. And then first person to call in, again, as I always offer, I will do a complimentary reading for the first caller. And then at the end, I'm going to offer a a special just for remote healings and remote clients because I can't always connect with the ones of you that are listening. So I have a special offer just for you today.
All
Um,
right, hold it.
is
And
there a question?
you have a caller.
Okay.
Hello?
And
Hello?
caller, you're gonna need to turn down the volume.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. The voices sound very strange right now.
What's that?
Um,
Did you walk away from the computer?
oh, yeah, I did. It seems like the voice is behind, though.
There
Okay.
there will be a delay. That means that you're still watching. You really need to walk away and just think about it as a phone call.
Okay. Hi, I'm
Okay,
just
so I
waiting
guess,
for, like, is my voice caught up now? I don't know why. I guess it was echoing off of each other.
oh, okay. Yeah, you sound fine. From our side, you
Okay,
sound
good. It was so weird. I was like, because I
fine.
was like talking present time, and then on the computer screen it was like my past voice, and it just sounded really weird.
You're like,
Anywho,
what's happening?
yeah,
So hey,
technology.
Eileen, I recognize that voice. How are you
Hmm.
doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So what, did you have a
Yeah,
question?
yeah, or I guess, yeah, question, also kind of just reflection on what you're saying. Like, I just wanted to say, yeah, I like what you're saying completely matches like how I'm feeling right now. And when you were talking about your soul sister gathering as well, like what many women were feeling, like they're really wanting to change and like step into their power more,
Yes.
but like just felt like something was still holding them back. And like I've been feeling that way lately to the point where I'm like frustrated with myself, like, you know, like acknowledging that part of myself, and I'm just kind of like, no, I don't want this anymore. Like, I really want to keep pushing ahead to like the positive changes that are coming into my life. Like, I don't want to just keep staying stuck.
Yes.
So,
That's great
yeah,
awareness. And it really
definitely.
it takes a lot of courage, honestly, to make that choice. Because for one, if we've been so accustomed to staying stuck and like whatever we think we're getting from that delay and that fear, and it just takes some time to unlearn that behavior. But really, as you start to, take those baby steps and be gentle with yourself, like each little step, really celebrate them. If you can get back to that that energy, well, not all of us had a beautiful childhood where we were really celebrated and cheered on, but if you can imagine that really beautiful aligned childhood scenario where you take the first steps and everyone's cheering for you and they're excited, and really remember what that energy would feel like no matter what your earth age. Whenever you're making
Yeah,
progress, give yourself credit for that and really celebrate that, because
right.
that is beautiful fuel for the soul. Whereas when you criticize and you insult yourself, that is fuel for the ego.
Right. Yeah, and like I was like, you know, it's like it's perfectly human to like get frustrated with yourself like, "Oh, I did that again," or "Oh, I went back to my old way of thinking." But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like, well, I shouldn't be so hard on myself because I've come pretty far.
Yes,
I've
you
like
have.
really been like working on things in every way I possibly can. So,
Yes. Yeah, and
yeah,
so
that
maybe that's
tends to
just your
happen.
angels nudging you to just really honor how far you've come. That came up in the circle as well. Like when we were meeting, it was just really looking, it's easy. Today, one of my yoga students made an amazing reference of how the suffering of the humans comes from comparison and competition. And I completely
Yeah.
agree. And so it's when, if we're in a circle and say a couple of the girls are really getting it and they're clicking and everything's going well for them, and then a couple of the girls in the circle are like, wow, my life's not like that. And like, I don't feel like I'm connecting. I don't feel like I'm in a magical place. And so then if they don't look at that as a mirroring of where they can also go, and they instead look at it as comparing themselves like, man, I suck. I'm not as good as them. Very
Right.
quickly, ego will start to create suffering. And so, no matter if we're comparing to others or even if we're just comparing to our progress from yesterday to today, we want to really tune in and pay attention to what we're learning and pay attention to how far we've come and give ourselves honor and credit for that. Be gentle with ourselves because that's going to
Right.
actually, like I said, it's fuel for the soul. The soul thrives from that kindness, from that compassion. And the ego really lights up and feeds off of your energy from the insults and the criticism. So you just got to decide, do I want to feed the monster or do I want to feed the angels? You know?
Right. Exactly. It's very true. Yeah, especially around these few days around the full moon, it's just, I think that's why the old stuff was coming up. Just the energies were so intense for me. Like today, all I had energy to do was just like sit at home because it was
Yeah.
like, wow, because I'm just really sensitive to the moon cycles in general, but especially full moons is like, whoa, I just need to go rest.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
what's
yeah, I did
beautiful is for
honor
you to
that,
listen to that. Yeah. Sorry, we had a
definitely.
little crossover. What did you say?
Oh, that's all I was gonna say was just I did honor that when I felt like I needed to just really rest and just
Good.
in general, like a lot of changes, like the energies have shifted so fast the last few weeks. Like I
Hmm.
thought I was gonna go be a live-in nanny in this really large, beautiful home, something that I'd really manifested in my mind's eye, and it actually was coming true. And then last minute, it was really sad actually. What happened is they said they weren't going to be able to take in a nanny because like they were planning on getting a divorce. And I sensed that there was some kind of instability in the home, but I had no idea it was like that major. But I'm like, okay, that's fine. At least I have a place to live still. It's just I have to just work with what I have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely.
So it kind of
But that's
it
okay.
definitely tests your focus on trusting that spirit's got a plan. And I
Right.
promise you, spirit does have a plan for you. And like I said, it may not be that the whole path is laid out. And sometimes we really think, like I was sharing with the yoga students today in the training, that I've been so taught as a soul myself to not be attached to things or outcomes or situations. And the more I trust and listen and not attach, the better I feel, the more peaceful I feel. But there's been times I've
Right.
ignored that and I've been like, ooh, I really want that. Or, ooh, this is going to work. This is going to happen. Oh, crap, that didn't happen. Why didn't that work? And there's times that I feel it can trigger our ego, even. Like the example I used was when I had gotten a job at a place and my angels told me you're gonna come in and you're gonna be a messenger for this. There was like a misaligned leadership, and I needed to come in and speak truth. And so when I went in there right away, I felt tense. It didn't feel comfortable. I was there to bring a message. And then my angel said, it's time to let go. You're not to stay here long. This isn't a good environment for you. And I was just like, wow, really? And so for a little bit, the ego part of me was like, damn, I just told all these people on Facebook I got this new job and they're all cheering me on. And then I realized, wait a minute, when I went home and I was in meditation, I just connected. And this is why I say stillness is so important, because if we don't go into stillness and tune into the reasons and the solutions and the wisdom, we can get caught in ego and really suffer for a long time. And so when I
Right.
went into that meditation place, they showed me clearly what my mission was. They were so proud of me. They were like, you did exactly what you were sent to do. Don't be attached. Don't worry. We will take care of you. And everything worked out. And I ended up getting this internet show right around the same time as that. And then ended up getting so many healing clients coming in locally from just, times that I had been at the gym, and people were finally starting to come around from those connections. But I couldn't see all that yet. I just knew to go where they say to go, speak and be truthful, which I did. And then it looked
Yeah.
like to the outer world, it could look like failure, like, oh, she failed. she went and did that
Right.
job and it only lasted a month. What a loser, you know? And
Yeah,
so if
it's
you're
pretty
struggling with
insane.
that, what's that?
I said it's pretty insane how how the world is that way, because I've changed my mind so many times about whether or not I want this job or that job, or whether or not I want to go back to school or not, or like I've changed my mind quite a few times, but like a lot of it just had to do with maybe indecision, but it was kind of like I really wanted to stay true to myself. Like things didn't feel right to me,
Yeah.
then I wasn't going to do it. Like, yeah, I have certain ideas, but I would see that with people, like they would kind of get frustrated, like, oh, Eileen, you should just go to school, back to school, like you got into debt, and oh, you just need to get all these certifications and everything so you can, it's just like this little egoic
Mhm.
thing, and it's like I get so angry because it's like so many of us already have really powerful gifts to offer the world now. And just the fact that we don't have these certifications or this job or that job should not prevent us from having the abundance and work and love that we deserve, but it's like the people out there will just say like, oh, you're like a total failure. Like my family looks at me like that way. That's why I don't speak to them anymore. They just look at me as like, oh, poor orphan Annie, like no family, no money, no job, lives with her mom. Like that's seriously how they view me, and that's why I don't associate with any beings that view me in that egoic lens. They don't really
Yes.
see me for like who I really am. So,
And what's so important is
yeah,
like you'll see that happening, but it's what's so important is not so much what others see us like, but if we're seeing that way. Like when I was temporarily seeing myself as, oh man, they're going to think I'm a failure. Wait a minute. As I go into meditation, wait, why do we care about that? We don't care about that. And so we connect with
right,
the soul again, and the soul's like, hey, we don't really care about what they think. We don't really care about if they think we're awesome or cool because, big picture, we're here to do a mission. We're here to go and show up
right,
where our guides send us and speak truth on it. And so, the more we can stay in that alignment and really listen every day for guidance and go in without attachment, I promise
hmm
from my experience that my guides always say, don't worry, Tawnya, we'll take care of you. We will always support you. And I know that's true because they show me all the time. And I'll go into somewhere, I'll do the mission, I'll fulfill what I'm meant to do, speak truth, and then release. And I've gotten comfortable to where now I no longer participate in my mind at all with thinking I failed. But that was what was important for me to clear. And that's what each of us has to do our own work to clear is that it doesn't really matter what the others think of us. It matters what we think
right,
of us. And if we're having that
exactly.
internal battle, it's actually wasting our energy that we could otherwise be using to take the next step on our journey and fulfill the next mission. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And so being gentle with yourself and practicing meditation and just really celebrating how far you've come and then listening and tuning in saying, okay, guides, okay, angels, where are we going now? What is it that you need me to do next? How may I serve? And then be humble and present and just listen, be very receptive because they want ultimately your success, just like you want these certain dreams, they do too. And I promise
Yeah,
you, the ones behind the scenes are working very diligently to help you to get to your goal and your destination. But it's going to maybe come in, sometimes it'll come in ways that blow your mind. It'll come in ways that surprise and delight you. And even ask
right.
for that. Ask for it to surprise and delight you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, completely.
Because do you
So,
kind of see the energetic pattern of if you would have ended up getting that job and it was really tense and they're just screaming and fighting and divorce energy, how that maybe isn't the best thing for your sensitive soul? And so your guides
yeah,
were maybe
I see
bringing
that
your,
now.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
that
I
was a
was actually really
blessing.
overwhelmed. I was actually pretty overwhelmed, kind of around her energy, around the wife. Like even though I really liked her a lot, she was just so high stress and tense, and like even though it was a really great setup, like it was everything I had asked for, in my
The
mind, like, and it was
appearances.
right. But it was like, no, I guess it was maybe just showing me what's possible, or maybe it was even showing me like, this is how powerful you are. Like if you really direct your mind, you can create what you really want. Like that was actual physical proof
Absolutely.
that manifested. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. And yeah, so just a lot of fluctuations around where am I going to live. Decided I'm going to stay where I am now until, whenever I need to go again.
Yeah.
And then the other day I was like, I'm still deciding, like there's a few classes I was considering at school for caregiving, because I've been interested in caregiving for a really long time. It's something that I feel I'd be really good at, that I have some experience with. And I thought, well, if I go back to school, I'll get a lot of grant money and I can take these classes that are beneficial. But then, like, when I went to sleep that night, I just started having a panic attack after thinking about it all. And I started, like, crying and, like, even feeling suicidal just at the thought of going back to college, like, even just to do something simple like take a few classes. And it's like, why would I have such a violent reaction to something most people would see as really simple? I just thought to myself,
What
like, am
does
I
your
nuts?
intuition feel? Like, what do you feel intuitively about that reaction?
Intuitively, like, my mind's been foggy just because the full moon is, yeah. But as far as my intuition, when I had that reaction, it was just kind of like, I feel like a weight was being placed back on me. Like I could already feel the stress of like daily classes and homework. I could already feel the monotony of the same routine. I could already feel the like just the dread and like it just
Yeah.
didn't feel good. And I was like,
So that
damn it,
maybe
well,
isn't.
I'm tired of being poor. Like I want to make some kind of money. Like, and so, tomorrow I have a second interview with a caregiving agency, and I'm like, all right, well, I've been getting signs for that agency. Like I've repeatedly been seeing the same symbol for that agency. Like obviously my angels are telling me like, you need to just go do it now. And that's how I've been
That's
feeling, like,
exactly what I'm getting
fuck
is why do you need to
fuck
go to
the
school?
certifications. Yeah, like
Yeah.
fuck the certifications. Fuck, like, okay, it'd be great to have some grant money, but you know what? Like it's not worth all that stress. Like I should just go and do what I want to do now, especially now that the opportunity is presenting itself. Like that just makes more
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah, and if there's a door actually opening and illuminating with that potential and it feels good. And this is the reason I was wondering what you're feeling, because what everyone that's listening can really tune in to what you're going through that they can also relate to is our bodies are amazing at giving us signals that will help us know and discern if something is for our highest good. And so if we're thinking of some decision and it makes us want to kill ourselves, that's probably not the best decision. And if we get an opportunity like this caregiving thing opens up and they're like, wow, can you start Monday? And you just get this blissful, euphoric, holy shit, I'm just so excited. That is an aligned path. That's, you feel the illumination of that path. Now, it may not be there forever. You may feel that today, and in 6 months, it's telling you to let go. And so this is where we have
Right.
to so live in the now and discern the energy as it shifts and as we shift, because what we are ready for
Exactly.
today will change in like, time. So but I would say listen to that feeling in your body that that path is not the best for you. And it also, I sense there may be some stuff vibrationally you need to clear connected to that situation, just so that you don't end up carrying around this fear of college forever or this feeling that it's all bad, but maybe clearing some kind of like residue that's left over from that experience that felt very traumatic and overwhelming to you, so that you aren't
Right.
afraid of it. You can embrace classes here and there if you choose to without fear, but you don't feel like, this anxiety from anything connected with college. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. Like it does make sense. Like I was feeling that way also, like, doing something long term in that direction doesn't feel right to me, but if I do want to take classes here and there that would help me,
Yes.
enhance the
Yeah,
direction
for
I'm going
fun.
towards,
Like let it be
you
joy and
know.
curiosity that guides you. Like,
Yeah,
oh, that
exactly.
sounds
Like that's how
fun.
it should feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel completely. It's just I had that moment of old stuff come up again, and I'm like, where'd that come from? I thought I was done
Yep.
with that.
Which just
So,
shows me from the observer that there's something still there, like an energetic pattern, and that if you
right.
clear that, it won't return. You just need to release that. But
Yeah,
it feels like your body's also very much telling you to pay attention to that direction. And like I said, it won't hurt you to take some classes here and there, but if there's an opportunity for you to do it now, that's exactly what I got when you were talking was the message that came through is she could just do it now. And so then when you said that, I'm like, that's it right there. You could just step in and do it now. And I feel like you already deep down understand how to assist as a caregiver in your energy.
I
Like that's what
do.
you're
I
wired
I
to do.
love to. Like this last year, like I worked 8 months. I worked for disability services at the school I used to go to, and I would assist students with disabilities in the classroom. And I loved it. I had no formal training for it. Like all they did was hand me a packet. I had no formal
Mm-hmm.
training, but I just instantly knew what to do. And like I wasn't making a ton of money. Like it was part time, you know, but I it was enough, and I really loved and enjoyed it. And it made me feel really good at the end of the day. Like I really was helping people. And then like, you know, like each student, I'd help them, you know, for the term, like a couple months. And then at the end of the term, they would always say to me like, wow, like you were the, you know, best student aide I ever had. Or like, you know, they would just, I could see them just like light up, and it like, you know, it makes me cry. And so
Yeah. Because
that's
that
like the only
feeling of,
time I've really felt happy.
yeah. And that feeling of being somewhere where you're really honored. That's what our show last time was all about honor. And the energy of honor is not to be underestimated. Like to go to places where you feel honored is so key and vital to your soul, to really you thriving rather than feel like you're surviving in an energy. And so that's why I
Right.
sense it's bringing up emotion because you actually felt honored and you felt like you were living out a purposeful existence. You were contributing and it felt really good.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like I can keep doing that in different environments. Like I could see myself, you know, working as a caregiver in like seniors' homes. I can see myself like, you know, helping, you know, adults with developmental disabilities in like foster homes, or like I could see myself in places like that, you know,
Yeah.
without any certification. Or yeah, maybe if I
Yeah.
did just take a few classes that I needed to get those jobs that I know I'd
Yes.
really love, you know.
Well, and something that would be great is if you meditate, and you already look like you're going in that direction on a path, but to meditate and thank your angels for illuminating the doors of opportunity and really guiding you to the doors of opportunity that would be best for you. And then, even once you walk into those places, if there are things you need, just thanking them for bringing you all the trainings you need. You can even thank them for bringing you all the trainings you need and bringing you the money that you need to take those trainings. And I've had
Yeah.
students come to trainings I offer and they're like, "Oh, Tawnya, I really want to train with you, but I don't know about the money and like how." And I'm like, if you're meant to work with me and you trust that, you need to thank your angels and guides for bringing you the abundance to pay for it. And you trust that they will. And every single time that they listen, the students that have come to me and they actually tune in and they ask, the money comes in and they're like, "Holy crap." And they, a lot of times, are very magical ways the money manifests, but it's
Yeah.
just about our asking. It's about our saying, yes, now I'm ready to walk through that door. Bring me all the tools I need so that I can do this job in the highest, alignment. And why would your guides not provide for you? So it's like we really get into this place where we trust that we're that supported. We don't think that we're on our own. And that's a lot of souls are healing a lot of woundedness and a lot of abandonment that makes them kind of
Yeah.
move and navigate the planet thinking, I'm on my own. No one gives a damn. And especially a soul like your own and like myself that have been in family situations where the birth family was not where we were meant to stay and was not supportive and for a purpose because we weren't meant to stay there. We were meant to go there, learn and observe the environments, bring messages to them and then get the hell out of there. So it's,
Right.
as you learn that, you'll realize that your team, your supportive team, will bring you everything you need, and just be very clear. What they've told me is the more clear you are with what you need, the more clearly you focus on what you desire, we will bring it. And so it gets into
It's
the laws
true.
of attraction, where if we're focused on not having and being alone and no one cares, that's what we get. But if we get very clear with our intention and our power and our connected abilities to manifest, and we tune into our team and we thank them for bringing exactly what we want, and we're ready for it, you watch how powerfully you'll manifest that illuminated door.
Yeah, it's true. It really is. Like, I have experienced that in my life. I really have. And it's like, it's amazing when it happens. And it's like, wow, I really can trust in myself and in my angels and in my ability to create. Like, wow, I am powerful.
Yes,
It's
you
like,
are.
I think just being human, we forget sometimes,
Yes.
and we have to keep reminding ourselves until we stay, in that vibration and remember,
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, that's how I got this interview with this agency. And something else I was thinking of was, should I be a CNA or become one if I want to work in those care settings? And then I found out about this Tuesday, there's a job fair for marquee companies, and they're willing to give free CNA training for the right candidates.
Well, there you go. Isn't that
And I'm like,
awesome?
okay, maybe I should listen to that. Maybe I should go do that,
Yeah.
and trust. Like, I
Yes,
deserve that.
definitely.
I should go in that direction.
Yeah,
So,
trust, and just like tune in and take that next step, and just keep paying attention to what your body signals tell you, and paying attention, like you were saying, like when I just tune in and I remember to connect with my soul, and then I remember to trust in my angels. Yes, it's all about that. So that's where
yeah,
I say the gift of stillness, when we're being still and it looks like we're doing nothing, is sometimes the most powerful moments of our day, because we're listening and we're getting guidance, we're being receptive, we're receiving the signals and the direction. And really, there's nothing about ego. And a lot of the humans that aren't doing that, they'll look at a soul like that, like, what is their problem? They're not doing anything. Go do something. Go sign up for college.
yeah,
They just want you to go get into action. Go do something. Jump on the
yeah,
wheel, man. You're making me uncomfortable. But the
right.
more we resist that need to jump on the wheel, and we go and we're just sit still and we listen until we have a clear knowing and an excitement of where we're going next, that's really the magic. And as we do that, our souls will thrive, because your soul is always going to communicate with you. It will never stop. Your
Yeah,
soul will bring you guidance externally forever, through songs, through books, through people just randomly telling you something, through symbols you see, or numbers on a car license plate. Like, the universe is
right.
always bringing you messages. And when we start to
Always.
see it, we're like, wow, like, we're not alone, and we are being guided perfectly.
It's
Have
true.
you seen the movie August Rush?
No, I haven't.
If you get a chance to watch that film, I encourage you to watch it, because it's a very beautiful, inspirational movie, and it's all about listening, and it shows this child's journey, and what he really wants is to find his parents. But ultimately, it's just such a beautiful symbol, the film itself, of trusting, and of, even when it looks like he's in trouble or he's off the path, or he's lost, he really is listening, and he's got such a strong ability to listen. He is a freak to the people around him. The people around him, they
Yeah,
mock him, they make fun of him, they shame him, but he
right.
learns to listen to the source more than to the people. And that's so vital for us these days. Like, we need to listen to our source and our connection, tune in and be true to source, and our team, our spiritual team, because that's going to honor our life, and it's going to help us feel fulfilled, because there's a reason we're here on the planet right now, and it's not to sit in fear and to be afraid of anything.
No.
That is what the ones
It's
that say
time
we're
to
freaks,
enjoy.
that's what they're teaching. So don't go that way.
Yeah, exactly. Time to
So
be who you are and start enjoying life. That
yes,
simple,
exactly.
you know.
um
So,
did you want me to do a reading for you, a card, draw a card?
Sure, and sorry, I feel silly because like I call in and I feel like it becomes the Eileen show, and like
Oh
I
no,
didn't mean
it's
for it to
fine.
turn into 20 minutes all about Eileen. So
No, I feel it's the our show. It's whoever calls in show, and basically whoever calls in and connects on a topic, everyone listening is able to resonate and relate to some things that you're saying. So kind of look
well,
at it as an
thank you.
opportunity where, yeah, where both of us are sharing in what we understand and where we're at and what you're struggling with, where I may have been struggling, what I may be dreaming, what you're dreaming, and everyone tuning in can tune in to how that relates to their life.
That's
Make
true. It
sense?
really is, and I appreciate you saying that because like my experience of like the 6 month like spiritual mentorship I was in with a different group, it was like whenever I needed like more space to speak or even just like a little bit of space to speak, like I was often like people made me feel like, oh, you're
Silence.
talking too much. Same thing in my family, and then in that group, which I thought was odd, like these were like other spiritually minded people, and yet I felt like, oh, I like by the leader, like, oh, like you shouldn't be talking. And like that's how I felt around her like the whole 6 months. And it wasn't until the end that I discovered that.
Well,
So
you know what's
so that's
great is it's
what's
showing
that?
that something shifted in you because you're not attracting that now.
Yeah, like I'm done with that. Like, I have really important things I like to share with people, and I listen just as much too. And
Yes.
because I've been silenced like a lot in my life, like where people be like, "Shut up, you're talking too much," or like, "Oh,
Yep.
you're just all about yourself," or like they would try to find ways to guilt me into being silent. And like now that I've seen so much of it, it was like, wow, they were like trying to just totally silence me and like feed off my insecurities to keep me quiet. And I'm like, I
Yep.
see through all the bullshit now. Like I'm no way. I'm gonna speak anyway.
That's awesome.
So
Well, and you and I have that in
anywho,
common. Like in my past, that was the same situation where it's just anything of wisdom you'd share would just be mocked or shamed, and to where you just silently go into submission and just, okay, I just won't talk, which was really not fun. It didn't feel good. But it's kind of cool
no.
because now that you're coming out of that and you're realizing that that's not true and you don't have to live like that anymore, you got a lot of shit to say.
I don't get it.
And that's
Yeah, and
okay.
like yeah, and when I've shared it with the people that really, were the ones that wanted to hear it or needed to, like they loved hearing it, like and they respected me. And
Hmm.
like it helped them when I was really
Yes.
speaking from my heart. And that
Yeah.
just makes so much sense that we all really need that space to be able to really speak from our
Yes.
hearts. That should never be
And to be
silenced
heard,
at all.
yes. It feels nice to be
Exactly.
heard and to be shown honor. And guess what? It's
Yeah.
555 right now.
Oh, cool. Woohoo.
So, if I do a reading, would you want one from the animal deck, the goddess deck, the divine guidance, or the angels?
How about the goddess deck?
Okay,
Let's see.
let's do that now. I love Amnon's little sound effects he does. So,
Yeah.
Amnon, talk to Eileen about something you felt from listening to her share, and I will pick a card. How about that?
Sure. Do I have to?
Hi.
Yes. I'm making you. No, I'm just kidding. No, feel free to talk from your heart. You don't have to talk.
No, I mean it's really, I mean, it's very nice that Eileen calls in and really gets into it
Yes, I
and
agree.
pours her heart out.
Yes.
It's I think it shows a lot of confidence.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Sure.
See.
Sure.
Yeah, because we know we have probably about 1,000 listeners that aren't calling in. So you're brave and you're giving them the courage to maybe go, ooh, if she can call in and be vulnerable, maybe I can. So see, you're
Right.
kind of you're
Right.
nudging them along.
And the first step for you guys who are out there, and I know you're out there, you are watching Tanya, you're listening to what's going on, log into the chat, see what you're missing.
Yeah, log in, call us, connect. All right, so the first card is called, hold on, I'm trying to find, the first one is Cordelia, I believe, and it's a Celtic fairy goddess who helps watch over the flowers that bloom in the spring and summer. She's associated with the ancient sacred day of Beltane, which is celebrated on May 1st to welcome the Celtic summer season. And call upon Cordelia to help you thaw out any situation or relationship that seems cold and dreary. So her
Okay.
message on the card is you have been indoors for too long. You need to get outside and get fresh air. The message is being
Yeah.
cooped up. Does that feel right?
Yeah, like I've been getting out in nature more lately, but then I was staying stuck in the house for a few days, and then like I was getting that intuition, like you need to be outside like every day. You need to just go.
Yes. Well, and do you feel
So,
like in that environment you're in, when you're in there too long, do you start to feel kind of like depressed and where you start to doubt yourself because you're in that little bubble, that conscious bubble of that environment?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I start
And
feeling
so
that way.
I would say nature time will be so vital for you. Um, when I was in a marriage that wasn't really healthy for me, when I would be in the house too long, I'd feel very depressed and just like disconnected and almost like I wandered around, like, what am I doing? It was like I was put under a spell. It was the weirdest feeling. Like there's a gas released in the house and I just felt like lost. But when I would go outside and I'd go hiking and walking, I would start to feel myself. I'd start to feel I needed to leave that place. I would get clarity. And then when I'd go back in the house,
Yes.
I'd kind of go to sleep and it felt like a drug. It was a really weird feeling. But I feel like there's environments like that sometimes, if however we want to get into what that is, to really pay attention and be in nature more so that you can really listen for your guidance and your direction. So
Yes.
the message is being cooped up is not the natural way for inhabitants of this exciting planet to live. Believe me, there's plenty to see and experience when you exit four walls and the roof. A daily venture outside will not only revive your spirit and soul, but it will give you hope and faith in this planet's very existence and future. You'll see all of the goodness that's in store within nature, the flowers ready to unfurl, the leaves that are sprouting, the birds that hop about, and even the wind that affectionately caresses you. Don't let another day go by without stepping outdoors into this most entertaining and exciting environment. So it's just like really your intuition is spot on about spending time in nature every day. And even it's saying to consider looking into jobs that allow for a connection in nature. So maybe some form of a job where you can be in nature and be nurturing, using your nurturing gifts and also being in nature would be really beneficial for you. And
Yeah.
and then just like, paying attention to the environment and recognizing a need for balance in your life for more rest and more play. How's that feel? Does
Very
that
good.
feel pretty aligned? And then the
Yeah,
second
that
card,
that does feel good.
okay, I picked another one too. Who'd you feel like the relationship that you need to thaw out is with? I got a feeling.
What's that? Oh, the relationship I need to thaw out.
Yeah.
um, I mean, I guess like I'm still living with my mom, which is
That's who I
been going
got.
a little better, it's been
Yeah.
more peaceful here.
Good.
But there's yeah, so that's good. And I'm going to actually be meeting with my cousin Sarah next weekend. She's one of the family members I haven't spoken to this whole year, just because I keep feeling like she's kind of pushing at me, like really wanting to know, like, is she going to come back to the family? And so that's something I'm going to go and address next weekend with her.
Nice.
So,
Well, and maybe when
yeah.
you go there, just enter with that compassionate, unconditionally loving energy and just thank the angels for clearing ego from all energies so that you can each
Right.
see each other and show honor.
I was
And then
feeling
just
that
be
way
open.
too.
Yeah, just be open to what comes about,
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
the next card is Kali, and this is with endings and beginnings. And on the card it says the old must be released so that the new can enter. And it's interesting. I'll show that card. It's a little bit like more powerful card. But last night in the circle, so many of the women, I can intuitively feel like this leap of faith, the bold card, is sometimes you take the leap of faith without any promise of anything. You just know something's no longer serving you and you leave it. And you step out, like a job. Let's say someone's in a career and they know that it's causing them to be sick and stressed, and they stay because they don't know where the next job is. But there's times where we have to let that old job go. And maybe we have a week or so where we're just meditating and we're clearing our energy and we're relaxing and resting and we're focusing on what the next creation is. And then the new job enters. And same with relationships. Some will stay in a relationship because they don't know if there's a better one. And you need to sometimes let it go because you just know it's not the best for you, even if you're on your own for a while, so that you can get comfortable with that and trust that you can create and manifest the next energy that's best for you. So sometimes the reason I say that is with this card, it reflects the boldness and the courage that's required at times to let something go without a promise of what's coming. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does completely.
Awesome. Okay, so this one says, I sing praises to those whose hearts accept the universal order, which only appears to be chaotic and ever-changing. In actuality, everything is designed down to the smallest detail to be in perfect operation. So this card's spot on for what I was saying in the beginning of the show of how there is really no wrong path. Everything we're going through, even if we're being abused or we're being violated, we're being shamed, it's all a part of our awakening to come back into alignment. If we're, with the wrong marriage, we're with the wrong career, it's all a choice that we took that maybe was off the path of our true integrity aligned soul mission self, but eventually it guides us back to the path. And so in essence, I feel that's what this card's confirming, is that once you understand that there is a chaos to the universe and that it is random, but it's also beautifully aligned at the same time, and that every aspect of our choices and creation are bringing us where we need to go, we can really start to trust instead of be in fear. If we feel moments of fear, because I feel all humans will. I remember leaving my marriage, I felt terrified, but the fear woke me up and made me pay attention, instead of where I see some humans will have fear and it puts them to sleep and it makes them go numb and they just stay stuck and paralyzed. That's not good. That's not going to be a good feeling. So if fear comes, just know that's a part of life, and you're going to have moments where you're afraid and where you feel nervous about the unknown, but go anyway. Like, keep evolving, keep moving forward, and stay awake always to what's coming in. Let's see. It says, the dance of the universe is a happy one, with energy swirling and twirling in never-ending celebration of life itself. Join this dance, dear one, and enjoy the remarkable journey of the weavings of the story of your life. Do not fear what appears to be a change or a loss. It's only the transitioning orbit of energy interplaying with you and your loved ones. Embrace it as evidence that you are alive. Embrace your deepest emotions as a signal of your true human essence. And then the various meanings are, your current changes are for the best. Kind of like we were saying, like there's a reason that job didn't work out. It wasn't for your best, or it would have. Keep your thoughts positive, as they are very powerful. What appears to be a loss is really the beginning of a happy new phase. And let the past go. It's time to move on. So this one is pronounced Kali. And it's the ultra-powerful Hindu goddess, is feared by those who don't understand the natural cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. Kali is the embodiment of Mother Nature, who cleanses away the old with natural storms and fires to make the ground fertile for new crops and life. Kali is the ultimate get-things-done goddess, and she's a powerful ally to those who call upon her. Like a wise sage mother, she'll push you beyond your comfort zone to reach the heights of your potential.
I love that. I really do. That sounds exactly like what I need. That's like something I'm always working on. And yeah, those fiery goddesses, that's how you get it done.
Yes. You're like, bring it on. Well, and call in that goddess, call in that energy, call in Archangel Ariel. She's a warrior goddess herself, and just connect with them and thank them for guiding you, and trust that you are on the path you're meant to be at this time. So rather than try to get away from this moment, really just move into this moment, like lean into it and start to really pay attention as an observer of the movie. Like, what is this all about? What is it that I need to understand? What is it I need to clear to go higher? Where is it I'm being guided? And then everything starts to kind of flow more naturally and beautifully, rather than when we're in a resistant energy and I'm angry, I'm frustrated, it's not happening. And then we start quickly downward spiraling in our vibration. So you want to keep that vibration high. Know that you are a powerful manifester. And you also are so powerful, you know when something's not for your highest good. So you just learn to
Yeah.
trust and keep your focus on the ebb and flow and just go with it.
Exactly. And that's how I was feeling too, is like whenever I follow my intuition and creatively find solutions in a creative way, it's like, yeah, it's
It works
totally
out.
random. It's totally unexpected. It might even be all over the place, but if I'm following my intuition, that's when things
Yes.
fall into place. It doesn't make logical sense to, maybe like my mother or my family or maybe other people, but living in that, within that intuition, within my own world, is when I manifest the things I want, even if it's, from that avenue or different avenues. You know what I mean? It's not linear.
Yes.
It's random, or some would see it as chaos, but that's how the earth is. It's cyclical, but it's also very creative. It manifests in many ways. And so that's something very powerful.
Absolutely true.
So,
And just remember that. And really, the more you can get away from needing them to approve of you or what do they think, really work on clearing that. Like maybe consciously talk to your guides about helping you clear that. Every woman in the circle last night, that was a big one for, because there's a big part of what's keeping us back from stepping into our full power is at some level we're still afraid of what will they think of us? Will they reject us? Will we be freaks? And it's time to let that go and really step into your power and not really worry about that. Keep your focus on how may I serve, not what do they think about me.
yeah,
It'll keep you out of
stop
ego.
focusing on that. Yeah, like focus on the higher lesson, like this is why I'm here and this is what I need to say, and really seeing the situation through your higher soul and speaking from that place of compassion and intuition, because that's when it all flows through. That's when the true knowledge flows through, and then you're not going to care anymore about those small insecurities inside. That's when you're going to rise above it.
Amen, sister. And that's what the show was all about today. So that's a great way we're summarizing what it was about, was the basically the gift of stillness is what you just explained, is we come into this place where we really honor intuition and inner knowing more than any external distraction, because none of that out there will ever bring us what we really need compared to listening to what's inside, listening to the intuitive guidance.
Everything's inside. Everything is within us that we need. Well, thank you so much for
calling in.
Yeah, thank you. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to our training. Since we were talking about synchronicity and like intuition, I was like getting an intuition to reach out to her about a aromatherapy training. And then she's like, I was just going to write to you about that. And then you wrote me. I'm like, awesome. And it's just, and she was laughing and saying, I love when our angels, like how our angels connect us. And really it is like Eileen and I have had that experience with each other where we'll just think of each other or have a dream or something that's bringing a connection to answering a question. And so the more we learn to listen to that and play with that, we really realize we're being guided, and it's very playful and fun when we do it that way.
Yes, and I love that so much. It's like our natural state.
It is. Yes. That's the way the angels do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tawnya. I look forward to our training this Thursday.
Yeah, me too. And thank you for calling in, love, and for sharing your vulnerable truth and just being courageous. I really salute you for that. And I do not at all think that you talked too much. You were sharing, and it was beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you, Tawnya. I love you.
Love you too. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great night.
Bye. You too.
All right, everybody, it's 611, so we went over a little bit, and I just wanted to thank everyone that did tune in today and that listened. And if you ever want to write in or call, you know that you can, so be brave and courageous. And my little holiday special offer that I wanted to offer all the listeners, that anybody that's remote that doesn't live close to me, I'm offering a half price or clearing special for remote clients that have never had a clearing before. So this is a pretty awesome opportunity if you've been really curious, you know that you need some help, you need to move forward, but you're a little stuck or nervous about how to do that. Give me a call, 360-567-7576, or you can go to TanyaAngel555.com, and I think my email is connected there, or tanyaangel@gmail.com to send me an email. But reach out and let me know. And trust me, whether you're in my healing room or whether you're in New Jersey, the angels and I can assist you, and we tune into you vibrationally. So even if your brain can't understand that, just come and connect and tune in and experience it, and then you'll understand from the experience. And I can answer questions on the phone call. So if you have questions, call me and we can talk about that. But I'll be offering that for this week. So you have, what's today is the 7th. So we'll just have it until next Sunday. You have that time frame to contact me and set up a session. Your session could be after the holidays. You don't need to actually do it, but to set it up and pay for it and secure your spot, you got till next Sunday, and it's a half off or at clearing. So any of you have been thinking about it, this is a great time to take advantage of that. And I probably honestly won't offer this very often because I really value what I do, but I also like to offer specials sometimes to just nudge people to really try something that will help them. So I will sign off on that note, and I hope you all have an amazing week, and stay conscious, stay present, and really practice stillness every day. When you're in the light, waiting in traffic, practice stillness, connect with your breath. When you're waiting in the line at the airport, wherever you are, when the kids are screaming and fighting through the house, sit back and just watch them and just connect with your breath and really observe and pay attention to what your soul's trying to tell you. All right? I wish you guys all the best, and thank you so much for tuning in. Love you all so much. Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.